So last night, a pretty wild altercation took place at the Lakers versus Hawks game. If you went on Twitter, you may have seen that Courtside Karen was trending, and this was actually all caused by an interaction that LeBron James had with a Hawks fan during the game. Now, how this situation transpired was apparently there was this woman and her husband sitting courtside at the game, and the husband of Courtside Karen is a die-hard LeBron hater. People actually went through his Instagram and he has like years of posts all the way from when he was back on the Cavaliers. One of these posts from April 2017 says, "Can you tell I don't like this guy? My Hawks took it to them. Thanks Team Hawks and Coach Bud and his staff. Go Hawks." Now I feel like just based off that information alone, you can tell this guy is a complete weirdo. I feel like no regular sane person would actually hate LeBron James, especially for years, because obviously everyone is fully aware that LeBron James is one of the greatest basketball players of all time. But just on top of that, it's not like he's on some Mike Vick, Chris Brown type behavior outside of games. He's been known, I believe he's on his 19th or 18th season now. He's been known his whole career as like a great guy and a great role model. So I feel like the fact that this guy has been a LeBron hater for years just says enough on its own, really. And the reason I'm saying all of that is because he's actually the one that got this whole situation kicked off. Apparently he had been yelling some profanities during the game targeted at LeBron, and then once it got LeBron's attention and he started to respond to the guy, that's whenever his wife, the Courtside Karen, jumped in and things just got extremely messy. Here's the clip.
We've got a lot of jawing going on the front row, and look at that. And now the security is getting involved.
And the security is actually, I mean, the referees are actually telling the security they may want to usher somebody to the out of the building.
They might be gone. I think this was happening also. Somebody was all over LeBron.
And they're still on LeBron. I think that's what it is.
A few minutes ago, and I know he was glaring into the seats.
Now, one thing that you couldn't really see because of the camera angle there is that she actually ended up pulling down her mask for some reason. I'm not sure why that is. Maybe she wanted to make sure everyone could see her face so she could get all the clout possible. There's at least a 93.7% chance this woman is a clout chaser, because immediately after this event transpired and she was kicked out of the game, she went on her Instagram story to explain her side of the situation, and just listen to this.
So, I'm minding my own business, and Chris has been a Hawks fan forever. He's been watching the games for 10 years, whatever. He has this issue with LeBron. I don't have an issue with LeBron. I don't give a about LeBron. Anyway, I'm minding my own business, drinking my wine, having fun. All of a sudden, LeBron says something to my husband, and I see this, and I stand up and go, "Don't talk to my husband."
So from the sound of it, your husband was trash talking LeBron from the sidelines the entire game, and there was no problem with that. You know, as you said, you were sitting there drinking your wine, having a good time, no problem there. But the second LeBron James responds, that's when there's a massive issue and you have to get out of your seat and tell him, stop talking to your husband like that. Why doesn't that go both ways? You're just supposed to be able to treat this guy like he's an animal in a zoo or something, and he just like can't interact with you. He can't respond to anything. This is like that one Fox News clip whenever I think it was like LeBron James and Kevin Durant were talking about social issues, and that news anchor was like, "No one voted for you, shut up and dribble." It's just crazy how some of these people think like athletes or just celebrities in general can't be human beings.
And he looks at me and he goes, "Sit the f down, bitch." And I go, "Don't f call me a bitch. You sit the f, get the f out of here."
So the lady that paid to sit there and watch the game is telling the man that gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars to stand there and play the game, she's telling him to sit down. It's like this woman couldn't even put 3 seconds of thought into what she was saying before she said it.
And I go, "Don't talk to my husband like that. Don't talk to my husband." And he literally was like, "F you, bitch. Sit down." And all of a sudden, now I'm getting kicked out. Excuse me, I have courtside seats that I pay for. You, LeBron, you get the out of here. You're gonna let a 25-year-old girl intimidate you during a game? Bye.
I almost have to believe she's trolling, because like in every sentence she said, she either like contradicted herself or had entirely flawed logic, and then she capped it all off by saying, you really let a 25-year-old girl intimidate you? First of all, you're 25 years old, you're not a girl, you're a grown woman. Secondly, how delusional does this woman have to be to think LeBron James was intimidated by her? If we put LeBron James toe-to-toe in the octagon against Courtside Karen, who do you think is winning that? Now moving on here, LeBron James was actually questioned about this situation in a post-game interview, and it's crazy, LeBron was actually kind of defending this woman and her husband, saying they shouldn't have been kicked out, even after everything that transpired, which really just goes to show, you know, his character versus hers. She's on her Instagram story screaming about him, and he's in post-game interviews actually defending her and her husband. So here's the clip.
No, at the end of the day, I'm happy fans are back in the building. I miss that interaction. I need that interaction. We as players need that interaction. I don't feel like it was warranted to be kicked out. There was a back and forth between two grown men, and we said our piece. He said his piece. I said my piece. And then when someone else jumped into it and said their piece. But I didn't think they were, should have been kicked out. But they might have had a couple of drinks maybe, and they could have probably kept it going, and the game wouldn't have been about the game no more. So I think the referees did what they had to do. It's fine. I don't think, taking down the mask or whatever the case may be at that point in time, would have harmed anybody but the people that was right next to her. I wasn't close enough to her. I don't think any of my teammates was close enough to him. Maybe a couple of refs, maybe. So I hope they're okay. But safety first.
Now, obviously, he handled the situation really professionally in the interview, as you would pretty much expect, but after everything was said and done and this whole thing was trending on Twitter, he went ahead and put out this tweet after the game, which is actually sitting at almost 700,000 likes currently, and it says, Courtside Karen was mad. And actually, one more thing I forgot to throw in here, obviously, I don't condone this type of behavior, YouTube. Do not give me a strike for this. I don't condone going to anyone's personal pages and hating on them. Don't do this. But people did end up putting some pretty funny replies on her Instagram posts. A lot of people said blocked by James. Someone said LeBron owns you. Enjoy your Mickey Mouse clout. So with all that being said, let me know what you guys think about this situation down in the comments. I thought this whole situation last night was pretty hilarious, especially the fact that LeBron called her Courtside Karen on Twitter. But with that being said, that's where I'm gonna wrap up this video. Don't forget to drop a like and subscribe if you're brand new to the channel. As always, you can follow me on Twitter and TikTok at RelexYT. I'm almost at 15,000 followers on TikTok, so definitely follow me if you're on that app. And other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next video. I'm out.